sit there.
So
It's like no good place.
I think we can call the meeting to order at 6:04. And just ask for a roll call. Want to start with Paul? Yeah.
Follow them up.
Josh.
Jessica Weaver Bruce.
Lisa Delterio.
Okay, good. Stuart Peasley. No alternates. Citizens' comments.
Can I?
We'll let you cover some before I jump in and try to seal it.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I wanted to ask whether or not you approve the minutes in this forum, or is that already done? Because I had a question about last month's agenda, reconciling it to the minutes.
We have
It's actually supposed to be all boards and commissions that do that. If some things aren't on it, that we should.
We haven't been doing that, but we should. So we can start putting that in the agenda. We've been a little bit informal.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
What was your question?
So in last month's agenda, item number 5 was innovation and necessity of means, which actually kind of became item number 5, but I think it was covering number 6 for the budget and the videography update. So I was just.
We ran over on a lot of things last month.
Okay. I was curious what the necessity of means was. Not really familiar with that term.
Necessity of means is kind of like, you could call it an economy of means, but where, you have to do more with less.
Oh, okay.
And that's really, for me, kind of interesting because it's sort of the bellwether for innovation. And we have a lot of that in New England, Yankee can-doism. And I don't know, anybody else have their interpretation on that? But that's kind of what I see it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think that, as a commission, we're sort of faced with the same thing because we have a limited budget. We have huge, very vast number of topics that we could take on. But we have to be very careful because we don't, we're all, this could be a job, this could be a full-time paying job for each of us to really do it all.
Got it.
So we have to be selective and careful about how we spend our time.
Sure, makes sense. Thank you.
And we'll go over that because there's a lot of things that we've had to address, and I think, not trying to change the world overnight, just do it a little bit at a time. We can build up some credibility, and that way there we'll get more results, and I can explain that more detail as we go tonight.
Okay,
but
great.
We are making progress, and I can show you how.
Okay, thank you.
So that's good. And I'm really excited about you and Josh coming on board, and Jess and Paula. Someday Amy's going to join us, but I'm not sure. But does that help explain things?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. I think a lot on going on the chair's comments, and then we'll move on. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about first that's not on this was, how exciting it is for you and Josh to be here. But I want to reiterate, I've mentioned it in the past, but this is an opportunity for people to join in and look for ways to use this to build their own personal curiosity, follow your own interests. What is it in this group that you can do that interests you, and how you can learn and grow and benefit, and we can all learn from that too. So I don't want this to be like, I want this to be something that people can enjoy and saves an opportunity. Like, for example, Paula is been working on maps, and we'll probably get to hear about that. But it's the kind of thing where she can do it on her own without sort of like a lot of oversight or anything. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay. So, and I hope you and Josh can look for anything that's of interest and try to expand on it and see how you can grow.
Absolutely. That's kind of one of the reasons this first one, kind of finding out who's doing what already, what's planned, what ideas are out there, you know, take that kind of say, all right. So I'd like to add to that.
Cool. We had I was talking to Lisa before you got here, but as other people know, this was a dormant operation until about 2019. And so we're trying to get ourselves unstuck from the mud and get clear, get the momentum going. And we've been taking that with incremental steps. We've got some pretty exciting stuff going on. Right now, with Woodstock Academy, we've got a videography program that we're tied in with them. Can you hear me okay, Lisa?
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm.
And I'm really stoked up about that. That's going to be fun because we started it off as a competition, and students didn't want to do a competition, so it became a collaboration. And we've got a professional videographer that they're sort of acting as crew for. And we're expecting some results probably in the next.
And what are they doing exactly?
They're going to be looking at the town of Woodstock and using it as one of the basic questions was, where do you see Woodstock being? Which just like blew them all away. They were like having a great time.
These are the kids at the academy.
Yeah. So it's I'm hoping that, you know, as a result of that, we'll be able to post that on YouTube and put it in our website, and then keep going with the academy.
It'd be interesting to see the results and even go further with those.
Yeah.
And then interview certain ones about, you know, especially if they see staying around here.
Right.
And what they plan on doing. Yeah.
A lot of good questions and discussions have been taking place. I got involved in a few of them, but mostly our role was to just give them the design program and then let them. So what do I mean by town resources? That's one of them. What are the potentials? That is another one that we need to identify clearly. Where can we spend our time? What's the best way to spend our time at the moment? And tourism, of course, is the obvious one, and that bridges into mapping and how does Woodstock position itself to welcome an influx of people. Ultimately, the demographics here reveal that 52% of the population is over 45. So one of the things that we need to talk about is what we can do to help promote business and commercial enterprise for the grant list, because taxes are otherwise just gonna make it very hard for people to sustain themselves. So that word that you gotta remember is such a key word nowadays is sustainability. And kind of an interesting subject. What does that look like? What's really feasible for people to start a business? And it's one thing, for example, we try to address with creating a permitting guide, and you'll see that on our website. But you know, getting a permit for anything is sometimes daunting, and we try to make it a little bit simpler just to navigate the process. So that illustrates kind of what EDC should be doing and can be doing to help businesses start and grow here, which is pretty interesting. And that's about all the news. We had the tri-board details. I have not had a chance to look at that. I didn't attend. Anybody want to comment on it?
On the tri-board situation, the situation is the town's budget is
In the tank.
in the tank.
It was a really depressing meeting.
Yeah, but there were so many, like, I came out of it with so much hope. People had ideas.
I was gonna say,
people
which
wanted
one
to
or
participate.
both?
2 weeks ago.
I had less hope after the second one. Other people had more.
Maybe not about the budget, but about the town.
Because people are coming out. I guess there's my question. How did you hear about it? And like, what got you to come out to it? A huge problem in this town is communication. Always has been my entire life.
Absolutely. By chance, I had to go to the town website for some reason. And then I saw that, hey, that's where they're advertising.
Right.
If you get the Villager newspaper, it's always events of the week past. Well, you find it. You know, I would have loved to take a minute to this. You were volunteering for this. How did I, and I actually called the Villager, said, hey, do you have a upcoming anything? Cheat sheet? And they're like, no, not really. You just kind of know from living here.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't really like that answer, but
I can give you some places for information.
yeah. But to answer your question, we went there and noticed that, hey, that's where everything is advertised. And so you can sign up there for
Right.
emails. So that's what I did. Saw this. And said, all right. It took a little detective work.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
chance. And it should be a little easier. Almost like is there a welcome to Woodstock packet that realtors hand out?
Not
There is a
really?
packet in existence, but it hasn't been handed out in years.
right. It's not
Yeah.
helpful because I just moved back in 2019, but I did grow up here. So I know the ins and outs. And when I was a kid, there was more newspapers, but there was also the Shopper's Guide was a huge source of information. But the most interesting take on it that I've heard from a peer who, she's lived in town 20 years. She's like, it is unorganized information and I don't have time for that.
And this day and age, I sadly agree with you.
Yes, I do too. And
Yeah.
my mother did not agree. She got all angry, but
We all have good intentions, but we don't have the time to make this.
right.
Like I said, like stack of books and magazines, right? It just happens. So I was just curious if there's because we moved here, we've been here for 5-6 years now.
What brought you here?
Well, when I first moved to New England 11 years ago, it was up in Massachusetts. Oh, when we went down to Rhode Island, so
No.
surf, and then it was too cold in the water. I said, no.
Where in Massachusetts did you live?
Up near Templeton, Baltimore, way up Route 2.
Okay.
But that's where my wife is from. And she said, well, I really like the woods. And just happened to take a drive out here.
Wow.
Just let's kind of wander around. Woodstock.
there's your woods and
there's your woods and found a house and just settled that and absolutely loved it in 6 months of the year. It's the most beautiful place. Absolutely. So, and just the vibe, it's a small town vibe. You don't have to drive too far. You have everything you need within 20 minutes.
right.
It's nice to see, it was interesting to see the transition just in 5 years of the center where there's the Thai sushi place and where the stuff buildings are. To see that kind of, it's almost like you see the trees start to wither. Life back in the world, which is kind of the vibe of the small town, right? It's kind of the charm of it in a way. But being a business owner, my wife is a business owner too. Felt like it was our duty to step in and see how we contribute.
How do you guys advertise your businesses?
Mine's word of mouth, referrals. I have to go to trade shows, things like that. Construction consulting. My wife, she has an online presence, so she does most of her advertising through Facebook. That's how she
really through Facebook, not
the most
TikTok, not Insta.
No, I mean,
What kind of business?
What?
What kind of business does she have?
She has an online Gothic and alternative home decor.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So,
Are you estimatic?
And I'm estimatic. I do construction cost estimating, so I work for help people figure out how much things cost.
Nice to meet you.
We both have like at the property. We have a separate building. That's our businesses. But one of the things you mentioned about the easy permit guide, things like that. But my kids, they're teenagers now, and they're seeing what we do, and they go, well, "We want to have our own. We want to have our schedule and our business." And I was like, "That's fine. We can help you facilitate starting whatever it is, but it's something that you might need a space for. Well, where's the nearest space? Look at these kids now. At 18 years old, they were expected to be gone from the house. At least that's the way I was raised. Right. There's no way in hell I'm getting rid of my kids before they're 26. Today's economy, it is what it is. I've accepted that, right? It was like, okay, they can't. I don't care. I don't care what degree they have. I don't care who they know. It's just it's the chance of that being a reality, whether than not, is pretty high. And so when you mentioned the thing, immediately that came to mind for a young small business starting out. They have a limited, if any. So can we give some? One of the things I want to talk about. Can we give certain zoning breaks?
Right.
That's the first idea that pops in my head. Obviously not a race car modification in the middle of, there's, common sense factors, but that's the first thing that popped up. And then if you take a look at the business, like what's the plaza, that's Sherwood's, whatever that's called, the plaza.
I think we all just call it the plaza.
Yeah, the plaza, right.
Right.
That's what I call the center of town. But it is not, right? But who owns that? And can we give them, for the smaller spaces, or can they turn, would we be able to offer them a little bit of a tax break if we convert one of those spaces into like one here to the WeWork, where they have people go in and
like a maker space?
Yeah,
I was thinking
like a maker, or just a space anywhere where you can go and you pay a certain amount a month and you can go in. There's a desk, but that's all you need.
Yes.
But also, so it could be business / maker space. And can we offer, or can we find an old garage around here that nobody's using it, and break the zoning requirement and turn it into something like that? Because that's going to create those spaces for the younger, the younger kids. They want that.
So you're on the same page.
They don't want corporate life. They really don't.
Jess and her husband are doing the same kind of stuff.
Oh,
We're trying to create that space.
Oh, wonderful.
We are actively trying to, working with the contractor, trying to create that space. Okay. So it's also nice to hear that people want it.
Yeah,
absolutely. With if we're gonna bring in, Woodstock is 45 plus, half. That applies. I get it. Part of it's kind of part of the appeal in a way, right?
Well, that was a big thing.
But
WeWork.
Kids are gonna want to leave.
Yeah.
Have you met the zoning board yet?
That's what
it was already a pattern, right? Anytime you involve that, it's usually it's a very tough battle.
Have you gone to plan? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah, Amy and I have banged our heads, and as Amy pointed out to me, it's not only Woodstock, right? It's like what Little Dipper's been going through too, trying to, open up to glamping over in Brooklyn, right?
And Sterling is facing a track now. There's a whole bunch of towns with the same
And it's a
battles.
zoning board, is it specific to?
Each
County
town has
or the
its
town?
own zoning board. All the zoning boards that are terrified of change, really. And it's what is this going to mean? And
Although I must say, zoning did talk about allowing, started working on cannabis.
Right.
And they were very open about expanding into other zones of cannabis use, which surprised the crap out of me.
Is that a board that
meets
we can
weekly.
get, that one of us can get on?
No, it's an elected board.
So,
You have to run for an opening and you have to be elected by vote for the town. So you have to run through Democrat or Republican. It's split through the parties. It's a whole.
You can join the
let's have a
zoning,
put a pin in, but,
zoning board of appeals.
Huh?
Zoning board of appeals.
okay,
Join.
yeah.
And,
I'm just curious, is it kind of, does it have a stubborn HOA mentality?
Yeah.
Is that what we're up against?
In zoning.
Yeah.
Zoning wants to control everything.
Oh.
They want they're very detailed and they want everything to go through a very detailed process, which is they want to say what you can and cannot do.
It's fair enough because that prevents,
Right.
we've seen what, if everybody can run free, we've
Right.
seen that results in, in certain towns, but I understand. That's why I bring it up about, how do you keep your enemies closer, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, no, just thinking of that thing about, that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to join is because just driving through town, going to all the businesses, it's a lack of the younger. And I'm going, well, my kids, even talking to their friends, they want to get the heck out of here. Woodstock is almost a place you come after. It's like Maui. It's a place you go later in life, right? To retire.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the demographic here is really on the upper end of the spectrum.
Right, and that's fine. It's just maintaining that balance, right?
Yeah.
And you look at the fire department; they're hurting for volunteers,
Yeah.
And I remember I went and talked to them, and I said, "Oh, I'm probably too old." And he goes, he laughed, and he goes, "So I'm 46." He goes, "Oh no, you're the kid on the block." I went,
Right.
what?
Right.
That was really, that was a little scary.
Terrifying.
Right, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. It's terrifying.
But it just gives you the sense of what Woodstock is. Again, part of that is nice to, in a way. So how do we draw these young businesses in? How do we keep the kids that are in the last few years ready to venture off? How do we say, hey,
These are all questions that I think that are going to be interesting because we've had those in that videography thing, and so one of the answers is they're going to not soft pedal their production. They're going to tell it very straight. And they asked me if that was okay. I said, yeah, this is no fluff job. We want the truth. And so I think from their perspective, to be able to enunciate that so that people can listen anyway.
Gotcha. I know through Nextdoor, it was a year or so ago, and I did something here that put together the Excel spreadsheet of all the local businesses. Wonderful. That was awesome. Thank you. Very helpful especially for a new resident. That was really nice. Yeah.
Have a present. You're still a new.
Didn't even know this
So go to the
existed.
back.
Tell others it exists.
Yeah,
Because I sell it for the Grange. So word of mouth, tell people it does exist.
Absolutely
Take a
will.
peek. It's in there, the updated version, along with a ton of other information that
This
you'll
is
love.
fantastic.
and then there is
Right.
information on each month too.
This is
She's-
That was
She's
my baby
rather
last
impressive.
year.
Yeah.
Just so you know, my next baby is a town newsletter. So
Okay,
this whole
we're gonna
communication
have to
thing
help this
is-
one grow though and continue to exist.
Oh, it'll exist every year.
I'm just,
Don't worry.
I know. Just don't forget about your first child. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, just seeing that's a little step. Again, this is nice, but I would have loved to have gotten this when I bought the house.
Yeah, and that's
it's an
something we've
opportunity,
talked
you know.
about, and I know I've talked about with you, but it's also, it's talking about us creating some packets and then turning around saying to the real estate agents, hey, we want you to give these out. Because
or creating a welcome wagon
Right.
proper, like a
That's-
once a month, you know, hey, I don't know who keeps, how we would get the data of like who we would. It's either assessor or tax.
I was gonna say tax assessor would be,
or a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Judy would know exactly where to get it. Yes, Judy. I think it's worth it, especially in light of the current town discussions, to welcome new people and
yeah,
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
be clear about things. Because a real estate agent, no offense if anyone is one or married to one, will not tell you anything that will stop you from buying a home. Right.
Right.
Besides the required disclosures. So, and I'm not, you know, I mean, I'm saying we say the good things too, but also like, here's how you can be involved and here's what you need to know, kind of a la your newsletter, really same idea. But I would think we could put that on our list of stuff to tackle.
yes.
You said your name is Amy?
Yes.
So what inspired you to do the list and all of this?
Your
This is a
name
lot
on
of
here?
work.
It's my phone number's, oh God.
That was a ton of work.
Yeah, I'm curious, yeah.
Yeah, my inspirations are long and we can chat about
Okay, I got you.
the million other.
Is your name on here anywhere?
My phone number is though, contact.
So is that a town calendar you have, Amy?
Yes.
It is. I created it as a fundraiser for the Grange because it's one of the projects in my heart. So we have been I'm trying to sell them to raise a little money, but it's all Woodstock. It's got business listing, it's a whole bunch of stuff.
So how do we order that?
They're available through the Grange through me, so I can just email me or I'll email you. They're at the libraries. They're at
they are at the
Memorial,
libraries.
West Woodstock Library. Farm to Table sold out. They're at Echo Farm for sale. So they're around town in different places.
Okay, I'm near.
For sale?
Sorry.
Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
Actually, can I, if you don't mind, Lisa, how did you come to us and how did you learn about the meeting and stuff?
Crystal's email.
So I got an email from the town. I'm on the distribution list for minutes and agendas for the town meetings and just an invite. And Josh, I don't know if you got the same invite for the commission openings, if that's how you ended up on the commission.
I saw it on the website, but also the email came through.
You got the email. Yeah, that email was helpful. But the in the town tribe board meeting was the same, just getting that notification by email. I do want to make a comment the tribe board meeting. Just I understand the frustration over the budget, but I think one thing that's really critical is that a lot of people don't understand Proposition 46 and its limitation on spending.
Yep.
It's a limitation on spending, and I think people are really unclear about why that's problematic. And it's simple math, if I can say that. If you came up with a little, worksheet of here's where we were 3 years ago, and that really limits, that whole 3-year average.
I know. Are you busy Friday night? If you know people who are interested in learning more about it, Friday night there's a meeting.
Where is that? At the Grange?
At the Grange.
Yep.
What time is that?
We haven't posted it yet.
I know we
I'll put it on
haven't.
Facebook tomorrow.
We haven't posted it yet, but 6:30. Potluck. So there will be food.
Oh, fun. Okay, thanks.
No, thank you. Real quick, I'm also very sorry, but I do have another meeting that I'm gonna have to run away to. I have a timer, I still have 15 minutes or so. But I'm planting the seed now that I cannot do another Monday night meeting for March or April.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because marathon's at the end of April, so. Woodstock Marathon. Woodstock
clue about
Marathon,
it. Yeah, see,
April
we
29th.
need
I will
something.
send you all of the connection points.
But we need, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff we've heard on Whiny Radio, that's how
Winnie.
we found it. Sorry, Winnie. I whine a little sometimes. Winnie Radio, and that's like, wife will say, oh, I just saw this on their Facebook page, or heard to that.
It's so inconsistent.
Right. So,
My biggest beef is like the business associations and Winnie Radio and everything. It's all, they have to make money, they have to survive. I feel like this town commission should be all the information. You know what I mean? That's why I made that list, because we have the business association, which is great, and they do a lot of promotion and they're doing really good things. But I felt that the town needed a list of everything without someone being eliminated. And that's kind of, you know, a very important point to me. And that's why we miss out on so much information, because it's selectively shared or it's selectively spotlighted because it's funded. And, you know, not all people can fund to advertise. So we need some sort of platform, whether it be, I mean, whatever it is, that is all inclusive.
exactly. Who's in charge of the yearly business conference?
That's the business association.
That's okay.
And that, it used to be bigger. We lost a couple businesses at Night Off, so it's now coming back. So they are on the upward, which is good.
We're not working with them, we're tied into them in any way.
Not currently.
We are actually. I mean, I'm a member and I communicate with them often. But I think that we're more about policy.
Sure. Okay.
And they're more about, you know, those interactions within the business communities amongst themselves, and how to, you know, should attend one of the meetings and check it out, but they're usually first Mondays or second. First Monday is they'll be in this room at same time, 6 o'clock. On that note, so what do you want to do, Jess? You want to just like not be here?
The next 2 Mondays?
Yeah.
I don't like missing. And but I guess if y'all
I can record it for you. You can
read
listen audio if you want.
Yeah.
The recorders. I'll just record this one so you can hear what we said.
I mean, the only other thing is we could do a Zoom meeting, or we could do a special meeting.
No, she has.
I have a meeting that's standing Mondays, technically 6 o'clock. They moved it for me today.
Oh.
But I know as we get closer to the marathon, we can't be that, you know, we can't be as flexible as we've been.
Okay.
So that's all. So I just wanted to plant that seed while I could. We can figure it out offline.
The other thing is
we
could change the meeting date if Mondays are not good. Because one thing that we always have a problem with is on Mondays is that we will have holiday conflict. So if anybody wants to go to Tuesday, we can probably get that in the works. Tuesdays don't have any holidays, so that's usually a good thing. And I don't think there's too many meetings on Tuesday night. I have to check, but I did check
I
once.
don't think we're to find out.
Yeah. So something to think about. How about you, Lisa? Would Mondays be a problem, or Tuesdays be better?
Tuesdays are better. I have a board that meets the first Mondays of the month.
So we can think about it.
Thanks.
Would that be good for you, Jess?
Yes.
Okay.
Tuesdays are generally, Tuesday nights are good for me.
Well, we were, when I first started, we were at first Mondays, and we were constantly in conflict with Woodstockton Association and wetlands. It was tough. So this worked good, but it's still a lot of hassles with the holidays. Which it sounds petty, but it's kind of hard to schedule meetings sometimes. if you guys saw what my email said. We don't always get, it's not always automatic, you know, so you have to, it is what it is. All right, so moving on to old business. The 2023 budget approval is the same as 2022. We've got $1,250. So I'm still excited about the video program, but if anyone else has, I'd like to be able to allocate some funds to that, probably 500 or 600 at the most. But that's flexible.
And Stuart, is there a timeline for delivery? When can we look forward to a semi-finished product or?
End of this semester.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they've been working on it for a while.
Great.
So it's time for me to check in on them and see how they're doing. But the teachers has been really wonderful, and I expect he wants to make it happen. So they're pushing it.
Great.
So that covers the next subject, videography. Activities. Anything coming up this month? Or other town activities that we should be involved with? Anybody?
Honestly, I don't think there's any big ones because, in part because next weekend is a long weekend for the schools. So a lot of families leave
Oh,
for the
okay.
weekend. President's Day.
It's like faux February vacation.
Right, it's 2 weeks. So it's a 4-day
I
weekend.
like that.
Oh,
Is Friday a full day of school? As far as which means, gosh, I hope so.
TBD. I think so. I don't remember seeing this like the square that
Right.
what's going on.
But yeah, because
President's Day there's the next holiday.
is the right.
The
That's
20th.
the 20th, and then the schools also have Tuesday off, so it's a extra long weekend.
Okay.
But it's no longer. There's no longer a February full week off, and you can still be in school till the end of June.
One of the things that we did initiate, I don't know, I want to check with Amy. What's the farmers market looking like for the summer?
First Saturday in August.
First Saturday in August?
Yeah. I gave myself an April deadline to get letters out and a May response deadline. I'm sending out. Everything in town went great last year. I just got to work on the vendors. So I'm taking the Grown Connected list and a couple of like the regional, and I'm sending it out to all farms in any surrounding towns and asking them to come and vendor that day there and try to boost the vendors. But the town activities are pretty well set. And some of them had 100 people last year, so I was good with that.
Yeah, that's really
How's
good.
that advertised?
Locally.
First time I've
So locally grown day, I've never really formally advertised. Facebook, I did a shopper's guide, but a lot of people who participate post.
Do you have like an Amy's Guide to Woodstock Facebook
Right.
page or something?
I was told that I should be paid to be the official tour guide, but yeah, so it's a work in progress. This will be the 3rd year. It's a whole day event. Did you participate last year? You know what we're talking about?
No clue it existed.
So it's
Again,
lovely. Yeah, it's lovely
Right.
grown day. We have a breakfast to start off, and then there's activities at all the farms around town. There was like a chocolate milk drinking contest and an oxen demonstration. And yeah, so another one of my babies.
No, it's nice. Yeah, again, just consolidate all of this. To say, hey, everybody here, go here. And if you don't have social media, you can also work for that too.
The newsletter would make my life a lot easier, which is why I'm willing to invest the time and the energy in.
So who will host that?
It's going to have to be an actual board of people well, that's not something that I can do on my own. Like the calendar took me a long time to do on my own. And now that I have it in place and I understand it, I can update it easily enough and grow to it. So that's easy. The list is there and it was updated. But I'm still working out the process. It won't be through the town. It'll be through the Grange. And the reason it won't be through the town is because the town is limited on what it can from. Oh, technically they don't do like church activities or certain things. Like I want to, again, include everything that's happening in town. So it would be an independent thing. It would have town information, obviously, but it probably wouldn't be run through the town systematically.
Effective, usually it's the best.
Yeah. And I'm fortunate to have, the Grange, which is an established nonprofit, and they have all of that stuff set in place that I can use as a vehicle for a lot of these things. You are the Grange.
What was did we skip over the mapping? I was curious what that is.
So so I'm working with it's the woman who she ran the Fire and Ice Festival in Putnam, so she's been a little a little busy. Yeah. But the idea she does
like
Delpha retired.
She retired? Oh, Jennifer? That was her second?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
Okay.
I just know I checked in with her and she was like, just give me a couple of weeks. And I was like, cool. But she does like these artist rendering of Putnam, Pomfret, and Woodstock maps. And the Woodstock map had like 5 things. I thought, it had room for development. And, and she is looking for like sponsors, and I think it would be important to not be something that already exists. Like there's tons of different materials so I made it a project with the kids and we went to visit some of the farms that have farm shops with the idea of having a theme with like farm fresh food, like come to Woodstock for the day and come see these places, like how cool. And so that's what we're working on. So I need to find from her, like, how much is the sponsorship and like who will like it and who will think this is interesting. With the idea again of whether it's electronic or paper, both probably that somebody could be like, I want to go here now once a day. Right, yeah. So that's the idea.
One thought I had too was, in fact, I talked to Crystal about it, but if we could put a button on the website for Google Maps and then Access GIS, which is a new platform that the town is using for surveying and wetlands and planning and zoning. It's a great topographical resource, but also it's geographically correct, more accurate than the NECOG maps. So this would be, just as a base point. One thing about Google Maps is, it promotes your business if you have that Google My Business app, and a lot of businesses do, so it's automatically going to give you that tag.
It's so unreliable.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to, like, if you Google books, so I have
Christian bookstore.
Right, if you Google bookstores, the Christian bookstore will show up, which has been defunct for 20 years.
Google calls my place of business 3 times a day wanting to update the listing, which I don't want on there.
So I'm about to take that on for the library because Google says that East Woodstock Library's hours are something like from 7 to 7. It's something crazy. Like people will show up, and because my mom's a librarian in East Woodstock, and there's so much foot traffic from regular like customers of the library that there's all of the paperwork and behind the scenes and processing that she has to do. So she goes in when the library is supposed to be closed to do that.
Okay.
But Google doesn't have the correct hours. And so people will show up and like bang on the windows and doors saying, but Google says you're open.
No, even my house.
Like, no. So I'm taking that phone call on to try to see if it's, so if I do it, if it's a successful undertaking, then yes, I will also take it on for you.
It's true. I mean, even,
But that's the thing, I don't trust Google. I don't trust using Google.
no,
And they also still have my incorrect property lines. Like
Right.
there's all of that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too.
if you Google my address, you'll end up on my neighbors.
Right.
That's your-
But GIS,
Yeah.
whatever the new map is, has
That's
the
just
same Google incorrect property lines.
It does?
At least for my house, it does.
Oh, that's
So
not good.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel great about it. But it is still another tool for us to use.
Well, that's just, because I'm a little concerned about being overwhelmed. What you're doing it's a great idea, but it's a huge undertaking. You sure? You okay with it?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, baby, we're in the infant stages, so.
What's your plan? What do you want to produce?
Well, it would be amazing to have August 1st. Like, wouldn't it be?
I do a map every year for that anyway. I did one last year when it was
yeah.
out. Every year I event a map and I have the locations for what's going on.
Right.
There's funding of different platforms. Like you could do
Hand it out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a come back.
I printed some, but I like to be able to link it digitally because the cost of printing and then the excess paper. I mean, I do have some and I print some, but I like the idea of both because only paper gets expensive fast when you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
Are these in all the local places that like the
I have to
winery,
bring-
all the
Not at the winery.
Like-
I have to bring more to Farm to Table. They sold out. They're at Echo Farm. They're in the libraries, and that's it.
just curious, yeah, if this had a map on the front of it, like to
Next-
tie those two together.
Next
no.
year, instead of some of my pages, instead of like library, I'm going to start inserting maps. So next year, there might be like a ag map or a shopping map, or you know what I mean. So slowly, I will incorporate those into the calendar. It wouldn't be all maps.
What I was thinking, just somebody's coming to visit, like to say,
Yeah.
hey, come to visit or whatever, the stock up on, stock the freezer or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And these are by the registers,
That's
right? They're going to see the map of other things to do.
yeah.
And then they're going to go, oh, a calendar that's only, I don't know what they're selling it for, but a calendar that's so-and-so, oh, it shows everything. It's a map, it's a calendar, it's a reminder of our trip, and it's got all the local businesses. And, oh, here's all the reasons to come here. It's literally like, this is so
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's round one. It'll improve with time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. But that alone, the staple list of the back, I mean, just having that people want ease, right?
Right.
And,
Right.
and if they see, ooh, nice and easy, they see a picture of corn, they see a picture of a cow, they see a picture of,
No, I
Those
tried
lines.
doing
They're
that.
gonna go, oh, let's
I
take the line,
actually,
right?
for the ag, and because I'm one person and I'm insanely busy, but it's like 85% done is the Woodstock ag listing. My criteria with that is, where do you draw the line? Like, because if you're interested in all ag, some of it isn't necessarily public. There's like historical farm ag. So
Gotcha.
I'm just trying, I have all the information, I just don't know how to lay it out yet. And then I have to go back and make sure that my information is still accurate because things change very rapidly in this town.
Understood.
But I did do an ag specific one.
That's what we're using as the basis, or at least that's what I was using as the basis.
Right.
of
Well, I said,
finding
yeah,
storefronts, which is different than like.
right. I said
You
in
know.
a storefront one, but I have one with like, all of the ag stuff, like we're gonna buy hay and silage, you know what I mean? That
Oh,
kind of
gotcha.
stuff
The
isn't
others,
necessarily, tourism, but it's important for people who have animals and there's tons of them in town. So how do I package that is where my hiccup is currently. Like, what does ag mean? Do I do two separate ones? Do I do like, like the touristy ag and then do
But I
do
don't know,
ag or?
Because honestly, and I mean, granted, I grew up in this town of all things, so it makes sense. But as somebody, as a tourist, even, I'd be like, oh, that's great that they have this supply in town. Like they have a place to buy these necessities right here in town.
Right.
And, and even there are probably times in my kids' lives where I might have said, let's go visit, like, especially my youngest one was such an animal thing that such an animal freak that
I thought there was so they like in 2014 they had locally grown brochures and they got a grant to do it, and it had like, you know, the historical acts on a folder insert and then the other stuff, but it was like that. They said they got a grant, so it was, I don't have a grant. How do I do this so that I can do it and not have to worry about like funding and
it was nice to meet you.
Possibly.
Hi, Lisa.
Friday.
Yes.
Friday, potluck at the Grange.
Hey.
Friends who want to know more about the town budget. And there will be more information then too. Yeah. Stuart, I'm sure I will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
I'll give our people a hug for me. Will do.
See you next time.
Get ready to run.
New business, that takes care of old business. New business would be identifying goals and objectives. I've mentioned that earlier before, for just making sure that each of the members in here is not frustrated, or, you know, that they can choose a path like making maps, you know, calendars or whatever, and have that be part of the constitution that is meaningful for you. And so just think about that and let us know what you would like to do as you get acquainted. Any questions?
Oh, it's nice to see what's going on. The little gups maybe. It's neat, the town historian over here. And the current orient, what do they call it? By the way, very good little bits of information put in the right places so if you need help and stuff like that. We're talking about that? I'm absolutely happy to help. Yeah, absolutely happy to help.
I'll send out, so I've been, I don't know, I have a big picture. Stuart's a little chunker and I have a big picture, so I will send out to everybody kind of some of that. I have a list of all the stuff that they've done in the 2 years.
You don't even know the big picture.
Attending meetings.
You on the email sheet?
Yes.
You are, okay.
So I kind of sent out just some of the other things. So that's some of the things that I do. With, I have a couple local community things that I do.
It'd be great to see everything. And the guides, and you said, finding information, you have to go to 5 different places. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is even a 10th of your finished product. That's pretty impressive. So.
Okay, so Lisa, do you have anything?
I don't. Thank you, though.
All right, Paula? And you're all set. I think we'll call this, have a motion for adjournment.
Motion second.
Okay, all in favor? We will see you next time, and any questions, please feel free to email. And I also like doing special meetings. If special meeting really means just going out and meeting on site somewhere, restaurants or new businesses. We haven't done that in a while, but I always like to throw that option on the table.
In town events, rec is next door now.
So that would be an option. Like, we'll just go out and chew the fat, kind of.
Sounds good. Count me in.
Yeah. So Woodstock Orchard, Sweet Evelina's, things like that. I haven't done those for a while, but if it's something that you'd like to do, let me know. We just got to set it up with the town. Everything has to be done, you know, with a file the meeting schedule and stuff.
Got it.
And we can also do Zoom, same thing. So, all right, 6:59, we'll call it a day.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Stay well.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. We're gonna end this meeting now.
Hopefully I'll have something more for you next time.
No problem.